right, so I'm going to combine these two stories. All right, it has to deal with third parties. It has to deal with independents. And apparently Cenk Uygur, yeah, that's right, I know, I'm starting your morning off with Cenk because I had to talk about this, was asked about starting a new political party. And here's my concern, okay? Because I've had Larry Sharp on the show, and, you know, we've talked about third parties and independents. And this last election cycle, while third parties and independents did get a lot of coverage, which is great, uh, the downside is that I think a lot of third parties and independents right now are ill prepared, and they need to start building up on their infrastructure, because if they don't, it's going to be more of the same. And I have a fear that that's what we're going to be seeing in not only 2026 but in 2028. So here's Cenk Uygur talking about starting a new political party, because guess what, folks? There's already a lineup for potential runners in 2028 for running for president in the Democrat Party. And you know what? Everyone could talk about a good third party. There was the People's Party. There was the Forward Party started by Andrew Yang. Yes, there's the Greens and Libertarians. And, you know, I want to see the Green Party and Libertarian Party succeed. But my goodness, there's a lot to be desired for. So enough yapping, enough talking. Let's hear what Cenk Uygur has to say, because you know what? I already see this being a complete epic disaster.
I think it makes sense is we need a new party, just like the Federalist Whig, Bull Moose, and the other parties that got retired. Might be time to retire the Democratic Party, start a new one, maybe launch a meme coin to fund it, LOL. I do like that, LOL. But this 26 and 28, let's go and try the populist takeover of the Democratic Party.
You dummy! Did you try that with Justice Democrats? I mean, that was your thing. And then there was also Brand New Congress and Our Revolution and DSA. I mean, come on. It's like sticking a fork in an electrical socket, okay? This is like Homer Simpson, Peter Griffin tactics. Oh, I'm going to stick a fork in an electrical socket, see what happens. Okay? Now, the thing is, those are cartoon characters. I want to laugh at their stupidity, but this is getting sad. Say that again, Cenk. Say it again. Say it again.
26 and 28, let's go and try the populist takeover of the Democratic Party. I think taking over one of the parties is easier than starting a new party. And if you say, oh, no way, one of the major parties can't be taken over, too late. Trump took over the Republican Party.
No, Trump didn't take over the Republican Party. He didn't do it at all. He just walked in with the people. The Republican Party's still the same. It's just now he's got a lot of loyalists around him, but it's still the same political party at the end of the day. You know, that's all it is. Because it could be argued, that the Tea Party took over the Republican Party, or that George Bush Jr., Dick Cheney took over the Republican Party. No, it's still the same thing, baby. Democrat Party, though, you can't reform it. Super delegates. The DNC chair wants good billionaires. The Fight the Oligarchy tour is being fought by the Democrats, or at least by the Democratic establishment. Look what they're trying to do to David Hogg and your Rebellion PAC. Are you stupid? Hold on, let's rewind that. I'm sorry. And then I'm going to play its full entirety. I'm sorry.
This 26 and 28, let's go and try the populist takeover of the Democratic Party. I think taking over one of the parties is easier than starting a new party. And if you say, oh, no way, one of the major parties can't be taken over, too late. Trump took over the Republican Party. We all saw it with our own eyes. And he's a moron. So no, I don't.
Especially now.
Yeah, and especially now, exactly right, Jackson. So right now is a perfect time to take over the Democratic Party. Why spend like tens of millions, maybe hundreds of millions of dollars trying to create a new party? And if it doesn't work this time and they're just like, no, we're the corporate party and that's all we'll ever be, then okay, next time around then I'll start working on a third party. But for now, this party's ripe for takeover. RebellionPact.com.
Oh yeah, RebellionPact.com. Oh yeah, Rebellion. Okay, taking over Democratic Party. What do I think? Here's what I think about it.
Here's what I think about it.
Here you go. That's how I feel about it, okay? That's how I feel about it. That's how I definitely feel about it. And I just want to just point this out here again to everybody that's tuning in right now. Back from the road again. I'm going to read your super chat here. Remember, he is funded by the Democrat Party. Sheep herd leading people to failing third parties, then taking over the Dems, and finally back to mainstream Democrats. Absolutely. Thank you again for the super chat. Back from the road again. Hope all of you are doing well. Fool me 5 times, shame on you. Right? That's right. And look. Here's the big concern here, my lovelies, and that is discussing the potential Democrat senators that are running in 2028 and the people like Cenk who will be cheering them on or trying to bring them on board or telling you that you got to vote Democrat this time. Shout out to Case Study QB.
2028 may seem far off, but Democrats are already thinking about the next presidential primary. Let's be honest, so are we. Despite trying to avoid a 2020 replay where more than 24 Democrats sought the presidential nomination, reports say that at least half a dozen senators are now viewed as potential 2028 candidates by their colleagues and top Democrats on Capitol Hill. Joining us now, politics reporter for Semaphore, Dave Weigel. Dave, can you talk a little bit about how many senators and governors we're talking about here? Because this is a primary.
Oh, Dave Weigel really looks different now. I don't like what he did with his hair. He still has the same mustache, though.
That is expected to be absolutely huge.
More than I expected. My colleague Burgess Everett and I wrote this. I was kind of handling the governors. He was handling the senators.
Yeah.
And yes, about half a dozen senators. If you've seen a senator taking up the DNC's offer to go to a town hall meeting somewhere in America and talk to voters, that is being read by their colleagues as a possible move towards 2028. Cory Booker's long speech. I keep being precise and not calling it a filibuster, but Cory Booker's vote.
Because the Congress people will jump on you.
Ruben Gallego having his own immigration plan. Amy Klobuchar, who is risen up in the leadership. People who'd run before and were not taken as seriously by Democratic voters when they nominated Joe Biden. They're all still in the mix, and they're all, to be fair, they're all younger than Joe Biden was when he won the nomination. As much as Democrats don't want an elderly nominee, that has widened the aperture for what Democratic primary voters might consider.
Widens the aperture, but also does it also have the potential flip side of voters saying, well, we saw how that played out. We have concerns about transparency. Is there a Biden shadow cast over this primary, even at this early point?
It's not. When Democrats get asked about this, I asked them about this, they say their voters don't talk about Biden, and they're not wrong. Just talking to Democratic voters at events, at town halls, the most active voters don't want to hear them talk about Biden just yet. There are advantages for candidates who did not go out there in front of cameras and praise him many, many times. And you can tell already who, for example, Josh Shapiro was pretty careful in not going to the camera and saying, no, Joe Biden has no problems. He's able to serve another 4 years. Wes Moore was very good in Maryland of pivoting to say age is not an issue this election. Same thing with J.B. Pritzker. That's emerged more as a credibility hurdle for them talking to reporters. For Democratic voters, they're
all right, let's pause here. Sorry, I'm not going to handle him talking for so much. So first of all, the shadow of Biden, old man Biden, is ever going to be present, okay? Because first of all, we have to remember the people who had defended Joe Biden, it was the entire Democrat Party. I mean, there was only like maybe a handful of people that did challenge Joe Biden, especially during the Democrat primary. And look, folks, before anything else happens, in theory, then they were challenging Joe Biden. You had Marianne Williamson, you had Representative Dean Phillips, the only sitting House representative to actually run, who was in the Democrat Party, run against Joe Biden during the Democrat primary. You had Cenk Uygur, who had no business in the Democrat primary because he can't run for president, but there you go. And then, of course, while at the time you had RFK Jr., and the party made it very clear, it was unified across the board. Everybody, and I do mean everyone, was saying, no, Joe Biden's going to be our nominee. And then as soon as Joe Biden crapped the bed during his infamous failure debate against Donald Trump, everyone went to Kamala. So that's what happened. And of course, it's not going to bode well. And I want to pull up this video here before we go back to Dave Weigel, because here's something that all Democrats running in 2028 are going to have to attend to. How much did you know about Joe Biden's mental decline?
If this becomes a political liability, there is almost no senior Democrat in the entire party that is not touched by this. Gavin Newsom, all the top Democrats, there is tape on almost all of them attesting to Biden's acuity, that he is as sharp as ever, that he is on top of it. And if the Trump presidency goes the way that some Democrats believe it will, which is rolling constitutional crises, if the Trump presidency becomes sort of a disaster in Democrats' eyes, I think the anger at people that covered for Biden will become more significant, and it will become a factor in the 2028 primary.
Those commercials write themselves. I don't know to what extent it will matter to Democrats. I mean, maybe, as you say, if the Trump presidency continues as it is in the eyes of Democrats, then maybe Democrats will be inflamed as an issue pertaining to this. But for sure, in a general election, you can just see the split screen.
Absolutely. And, some Democrats, Democratic strategists I've talked to have compared this to the Iraq war vote in 2003, where basically almost every senior Democrat voted for the war. And at the time, it was seen as sort of a shrewd, we're going to be hawkish decision. But by 2007, 2008, ended up being actually a political disaster. If Hillary Clinton had not voted the way that she did, she may have very well been president in 2008.
Well, geez Louise. Well, there's a lot of things to say about the failure of Hillary Clinton, okay? First of all, again, huge shout out to Case to the QB. I don't know how you sit through it, man. If Hillary Clinton had not voted the way she did, she may very well be president in 2008. No. Hillary Clinton was not. Listen. Sorry to burst your bubble. Vote blue, no matter who. A bird goes tweet and an owl goes who. No, she was never popular. There was no helping Hillary Clinton or the Democrats in 2008. There was no helping Hillary Clinton in 2016. There's just no helping her. And the thing is, Democrats in 2028 are going to have to ask themselves, or either that, a lot of them are going to have to start. You know what? Hey, here's some free advice to Democrats who are going to be running in 2028, to any potential aides or advisors out there. You better come up with a long-term strategy in regards towards how you're going to explain where you stood in 2024 and how much you knew about Biden's mental decline. Because let's be clear, let's be very clear. There might be some Democrats who just, I don't want to be innocent. Bear with me, who might not have known that Biden was on a full-on mental decline, or is that there was some rumors about it, so they could say like, well, we heard about it, but we just didn't look too much into it, so I just wanted to defeat Trump. Because that's the only thing they're going to be able to say. Well, we just wanted to defeat Trump. But the thing is, how much did all of you know? Because you don't want to be like Jake Tapper. And thanks to the internet, there's now a treasure trove of videos out there. Jake Tapper, who is writing a book called Original Sin. But the thing is, Jake Tapper, I mean, how many times did he go to bat for Joe Biden, even though Biden's mental decline was being talked about? And now he's writing a book saying, oh, I can't believe we knew this. So every single Democrat candidate that's going to be running in 2028, that's going to be the question that's going to be asked. I mean, you can't hide from it. And even if corporate media doesn't ask you it during the Democrat primary debates, it's going to be talked about online. It's going to be one of those things that people are going to want to know, like, how much did you know about Joe Biden's mental fitness? Everybody's going to want to know. What did you know? And this will be one of those times where you want to be honest. I mean, kudos to the people who will actually say, well, we actually kind of knew. All right. And there's no way of hiding from that. There's no way from hiding. And yet again, you have people like Cenk saying, oh, we could reform this party. How could you reform a party that knowingly let a senile old man who not only had prostate cancer that metastasized in his bone run for president? Okay, so there was already problems with Joe Biden. Mental and physical problems. You can't reform a party like this. And if you donate to Rebellion PAC, you know what? Hey, give me your bank account. It's safer in my hand. No, I shouldn't say that. Look, give me your wallet. It's safer than me. I'm gonna reverse mug you. Like, here, give me your wallet. Give me your wallet. It's safer in my hands. No, I'm not gonna take any of your money. Just, you know what? I'm going to prevent you from doing something stupid. Okay? Hey, to my viewing audience, stop your friends from being stupid. Tell them not to donate to Rebellion PAC, okay? Because why? Why would you donate? And even to David Hogg. If David Hogg is someone able to survive the Democrats kicking him out, why would you do this? Look at what they're trying to do. And yet this is the problem. All right, now take it away, David.
Very open-minded. They want to see proof that you are effectively resisting Trump. That is easier for some governors than it is for the senators.
I think that's right. And yet we talk about people like Senator Chris Murphy as someone who's doing a good job here in Washington of showing what pushback might look like, even though tangibly speaking, there hasn't been pushback from sitting senators. I mean, they're holding up some nominations and whatnot. But I remember when you and I were covering the 2020 primary, it was a primary that felt it really hinged on healthcare policy. Do you think that the party is going to spend time getting that bogged down in the weeds again? I mean, what are you hearing from voters that they want to hear from their nominee as they're looking around for some new ideas?
Oh, it's unsettled, but the policy space is going to be very different in 2028. If the Democrat and some Democrats are doomy and they won't even assume they have a normal election. That's something they hear at town halls is voters. And I heard this in Pennsylvania recently. I'm worried that there won't be an election in 2028. If there is one, if there are Democrats competing, the idea that you can rush in and spend trillions of dollars and put a national healthcare system in place by breaking filibuster. Some of those ideas from 2020, I think, have diminished because of the two things. One, what Trump has done. There's going to be a conversation about rebuilding parts of the federal government. And two, the Biden experience, where Biden did achieve a lot of progressive goals that Democrats saw the limits of. They did not turn, for example, bailing out the Teamsters pensions did not turn the Teamsters into Democratic endorsers. They lost ground with them. Expanding healthcare in the states, that did not create a huge constituency for the ACA. There still isn't one where people are protecting it, but didn't roll over into saying we want further healthcare reform.
Yeah, I think that's a fascinating point to make. To me, I look at this, it's going to be a massive field. I think the DNC is going to have a real job on its hand of figuring out how do you handle that many people and trying to give everyone a fair shot and a fair.
Yeah, I know exactly how the DNC is going to handle that, okay? And Cenk Uygur will definitely be telling all of you, oh, we could definitely have the progressive in office. Blah, 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 blah. Look, here's a big takeaway. I don't know. I honestly can't predict the future, what's going to happen with independent media. Who knows if any of us are going to be here, okay? And I know, I mean, like I'm being very serious here. I am deeply concerned about the future of free speech, independent media, how politics is going to be covered not only on YouTube, but on X, Instagram, Facebook, Rumble, Kick, all that jazz. I'm going to need a vacation on a long sabbatical, maybe. I don't know. But you can't reform the Democrat Party. And look, before anyone says, oh, well, Trump took over the Republican Party. It could be argued maybe he did, but it's still the same Republican Party. All right. That's all it is. It's playing the game. I mean, Thomas Massie said, hey, a lot of his colleagues in the Republican Party and his colleagues in the Democrat Party, shocker, have AIPAC babysitters. Okay. This is the truth of it. Okay. This is the severe truth of politics. And that's the truth of it. Okay. At least I could say in defense of the Republican Party, and I know, hold out for this. At least they don't have super delegates, which is a fantastic thing. But my God, I mean, if that's the standard we're at, oh, we are definitely lost because you can't reform the Democrats, like I said before, and right now there's 3 different groups. You got David Hogg, who will probably get kicked out from the DNC chair. You have Cenk Uygur and Rebellion PAC. Don't give money to Rebellion PAC. Please save your money. And then there's Fight the Oligarchy Tour, which in its defense, I know, hear me out, is at least able to draw in large crowds. But you can't reform something that is still letting an old man who's mentally down and has prostate cancer run for president. You can't reform that. And then as for third parties, now this is going to hurt because on this show, I've talked about third parties. All right. I've gone on the record on it. But if I don't say this now, then I'm not being honest with you, my audience. I do believe in third parties. I do believe in independence. And I think they really lost the opportunity to really build something strong in 2016, okay? I mean, you just can't wait every 4 years. And I know it costs money and there's leadership. But the thing is, you got to try and really get your act together, all right? And I say this to the Libertarian Party. I'm saying this to the Green Party. I'm saying this to all independents. You got to get your act together because, Misty Winston's right. We can't vote our way out of this, all right? Now, I want to see third parties succeed. But if you guys and gals aren't going to be building up your infrastructure, and I wouldn't bet it all on running for president, but you got to start doing more community outreach. You got to start going on more shows, and you even got to start building a stronger online presence. And yes, doing more at protests, rallies, events, and fighting for citizen ballot initiatives, because this is what you got to do. All right. I think these next 2 election cycles, I fear we're going to see click, copy, paste. There might be some differences here and there. But to anyone now, for the new generation, don't fall for this whole idea of, okay, let's vote for the Democrats, let's vote for the Republicans, because you know you're going to get screwed up the wazoo again.
Calling every foe synthetic leftist and progressive lover. Summoning the simps of all the squad adjacent opportunist two-faced cop suckers. Paging every Democratic yes man in possession of a smoother brain than those who hide behind Biden's stutter. Welcome to the super edgy independent news you can trust when we say we don't sell our standards out like all the others. Trust us when we tell you that we're looking out for working class America, holding all the powerful accountable. Trust us when we tell you that a host of vital truths are being covered, when honestly the truth is being smothered by a couple disingenuous hacks sent to act in bad faith by Big Brother, who start smearing every journalist who bears the credibility they covet from their gilded fucking neoliberal centerpiece. Air out all their jealousy and spite like it might yield them some validity, or paint a coat of pity over all of their acidity. But they've been busy cozied up to every war pig living between here and the infinity. Albright, Biden, Obama, God, that's gotta take the fucking trophy for unholiest of trinities. So I hope you didn't come to witness anything resembling integrity. That's been long abandoned. Now we see integrity as often as Atlantis. Now they only toe the line and read what they've been handed. Safe to say if Cenk sunk any lower, he'd be deeper than the Marianas. TYT will tell you how opinions aren't the facts unless they're Cenk Serranas. Since they chose to make a living out of licking boots and shilling, you can bet they make a killing. TYT is proud to say they traded all their spines away to empty out the till and tell themselves it's decent work and it's an honest tilling. Well, me, I see they found a way to rape the willing. Me, I read between the lines, and in the script I see the signs that those who fund their message down to every filthy dime would gladly bleed a human sea if it prevents a drop of oil spilling. And yet somehow they portray themselves the heart of the progressive movement. The loudest voices calling for some unity with those who built careers around destroying unions. Which might be true, since unity is something truly useless and symbolic, like a stale communion. Tasteless as the times they tried to fight back smiles smearing Julian. And I hope Cenk and Anna listen up and listen well. You will never be a fraction of the journalist Assange has been, even from his cell. All the filth you spread around, you spread it on yourself. That's my time. Fuck you twice. See you both in hell.